Welcome to the Morning Update. I'm Abby Smith. It could take between 5 and 10 years for the aged care sector to find enough workers. It's to meet federal government targets for 24/7 nurses in residential aged care facilities. That's the warning from Australian College of Nursing Chief Executive Kylie Ward, who's told The Australian there's absolutely no way the industry will meet Labor's July 1 deadline. Under the legislated requirement, facilities must have at least one registered nurse on site at all times. More than 47,000 people attended the AFL's first ever gather-round match in Adelaide. The economic benefits to the city are set to break records as tens of thousands of interstate supporters have travelled to cheer on every team over the next 4 days. Adelaide Oval CEO Nick Addison says it's a huge boost to the local workforce.
700 per game day. There's 4 game days. That's 2,800 shifts that South Australians wouldn't have had without gather-round. So when they talk about economic stimulus, that's a great example of it right there.
More in sport. Severe tropical cyclone Ilsa is impacting the WA coast with very destructive winds passing to the east of Port Hedland. The Category 4 system has produced wind gusts to 250 kilometres per hour. More than 500 Coles supermarkets around Australia will start selling products on Uber Eats. The Transport Workers Union has signed contracts with both companies aimed at improving pay and conditions for delivery drivers. National Secretary Michael Caine hopes Coles will treat the workers with respect.
What we see here is the opportunity for one of our primary companies in our economy, Coles, to work with Uber and with the Transport Workers Union to put some standards in place for these gig economy workers that are going to be delivering groceries for Coles.
To overseas, the man suspected of leaking Pentagon documents in one of the worst intelligence breaches in US history has been named. Jake Teixeira worked at a military base and posted the secret files to an online group. General Patrick Ryder says the Pentagon is taking measures to strengthen their security.
Mitigation measures and what we need to do across the Department of Defense to ensure that we're doing our utmost to reinforce existing policies, procedures, and rules. And if there are any areas where we need to tighten things up, we certainly will.
And the Royal Mint has unveiled its first portrait of the King to be featured on new coronation coins. It depicts him wearing the Tudor crown and looking to the left. They'll be released before next month's coronation at Westminster Abbey. Sport and entertainment next. To sport, Adelaide was just too good for Carlton in the opening match of the gather round. The Crows kicked 8 of the 10 goals in the first quarter to record a 56-point victory. But Rory Sloane says they're not getting ahead of themselves after their third win in a row.
We're well aware of how we started the last couple of years. I think we were 3-1 last year and the year before. So the focus for us is just to build that consistency. And the last 3 weeks have been a step in that direction. But we'll certainly enjoy this tonight. But that level of consistency has to stay.
Tonight it's the Dockers versus the Suns. To the NRL, the dream run of their first season has come to a halt for the Dolphins after being beaten by South Sydney overnight. They failed to fire with the final score 36-14, while tonight's match sees the Storm take on Manly. And in tennis, Jason Kubler has advanced to the quarterfinals of the Sarasota Open in Florida. He's advanced with a straight sets win over South Korea's Hong Seon Chan. In entertainment news, Jamie Foxx has been rushed to hospital after suffering a medical emergency. His family says doctors are still trying to get to the bottom of what happened, but he's now recovering. A huge surprise has been dropped for Coachella fans, with Blink-182 coming to the desert to rock out for the first time in almost a decade. The band, including Travis Barker, was added to the lineup without warning. And a new Big Bang Theory spin-off series is in development by HBO Max. No plot details of the comedy have been given just yet, but we could see the original cast come back to make some cameo appearances. And that's the latest from the Nova podcast team. We'll see you this afternoon for another episode of The Update.